Today we're exploring a really interesting concept that actually came from one of you.
Oh, really? What's that?
It's this idea of a Hayukati Pakatainer or Bagura Bayalomkasia.
Bagheera by Lankassia. Okay.
Yeah.
Like a balance sheet of fate.
Exactly. Think of it as a personal ledger for your life, tracking the good stuff, the blessings
Right.
on one side, and the setbacks, the tougher things on the other.
That's quite a visual metaphor, a balance sheet of fate.
Yeah.
It immediately makes you think of life as this sort of, well, ongoing tally, something dynamic.
Totally dynamic. And the story that came with it is about a man named Rudra.
Nudra, okay.
He grew up in a small village and apparently started doing this, keeping this leisure from a pretty young age.
Well, really, as a kid. That's unusual.
Isn't it? He had these two clear sections. On the right side, these sin tabay dana ice pass you thrade.
Tuer the echana dika shirbadarheta. So, the ledger of blessings.
That's it. And then the left side, height you there. So you want to do there.
Bamadika apisha watatarahat. Okay, so that's the ledger for curses and failures.
Curses and failures, yeah. That's the translation.
It's fascinating that someone, especially a child, would be so intentional about cataloging life experiences like that. It kind of suggests an early grasp of, I don't know, a cause and effect maybe, or just the ups and downs.
I think so too. And the actual entries he made, they really paint a picture.
Like what sort of things?
Well, on the blessing side, the right side, things like feeling his parents' love.
Okay, foundational stuff.
Yeah, encouragement from teachers, help from a neighbor, this guy Rafik Kaka.
Right, community support.
And even, get this, being saved from drowning by his friend Rifat.
Wow. Okay, so big life events alongside the everyday kindnesses.
Exactly.
It makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
About consciously noting those things down, the good things, how that might shape your perspective.
It must. Then on the other side, the left side, the challenges.
The curses and failures.
Yeah.
He recorded being scolded, like really told off by a market trader.
Those moments that sting.
Totally. And a teacher saying something really harsh.
Which means?
Basically, you will never amount to anything.
Ouch. That's rough. Especially from a teacher.
Yeah. And he also noted down, a friend betraying him, his own mistakes, things like that.
So it wasn't just external stuff, but personal failings too.
Right. He owned his part in things.
Putting the good and the bad side by side like that. It's quite powerful, isn't it? It stops you from just seeing your past through only one lens, either all rosy or all dark.
That's a great point. It forces a kind of balance.
Yeah.
And Rudra himself had this core belief driving it all.
Oh,
he said, "It bull by tried the last one to party. What ho? That fuck could be in the guy. Well, let me do it, God. Now I'm coming at you. Go ahead. Coming in."
Sure. It's roughly. Fate is a vessel given by God. Now, whether I fill it with water or poison, that depends on my actions, my karma.
Ah, okay. Fate is a vessel, water or poison. Depends on my actions. That's really putting the power back in your own hands, isn't it?
It really is.
It's about agency.
Oh, yeah.
It's not saying fate is fixed, predetermined. It's saying, here's the starting point, the vessel, but you decide what goes into it through what you do. That's quite empowering, actually.
And Rudra really seemed to live that way. The story goes he, grew up, moved to the city for his studies, got a job, and this apparently surprised people back home. He returned to his village.
Returned? To do what?
To become a school teacher.
Ah, interesting. Full circle. So the villagers were surprised. Why? Because of those early setbacks he'd recorded. The teacher who doubted him.
Seems like it. Maybe they didn't expect him to, overcome those things and succeed in that way.
It really shows something about resilience, doesn't it? And maybe the power of that belief system he had, focusing on his actions, filling the vessel with water.
Definitely connects back to that water or poison idea. And here's where it gets even more interesting.
Go on.
As a teacher, Rudra actually introduced this whole balance sheet of fate idea to his own students.
He did. Wow. He asked them to make their own ledgers.
Yeah. He encouraged them to think about their lives in that same structured way. Blessings on one side, setbacks on the other.
What do you think the effect of that would be on kids, giving them that framework?
I mean, it could be really powerful, right, for self-awareness.
I'd think so. Getting them to consciously identify the good and the bad influences in their lives, it promotes a kind of perspective, a more balanced view maybe than just reacting to whatever feels strongest at the moment.
Right. And one student asked a brilliant question, just spot on.
Okay.
The student asked, what if you're late, the left side, the failure side? What if it feels heavier? What do you do then?
That is the key question, isn't it?
Right.
Because it's easy to feel overwhelmed if the negative column seems way longer or heavier than the positive one. What was Rudra's answer?
It was really practical, actually. No magic wands. He basically said, well, you need to start actively filling the right side, the blessing side.
Actively fill it.
Through your actions.
Yeah.
By doing good deeds, helping other people, practicing forgiveness.
Okay, so it comes back to action again, karma.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He emphasized that this balance sheet, your fate, it isn't fixed. It's constantly being shaped by what you choose to do day in, day out.
That's interesting, the focus on good deeds and forgiveness specifically. Good deeds obviously add to the blessing side, not just for others, but for your own sense of purpose.
Makes sense.
And forgiveness.
Yeah.
Well, that's about tackling the left side, isn't it? It's about letting go of the weight of those past hurts or failures so they don't keep pulling that side down.
Yeah, like stopping them from having so much power over the present.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It's about managing both sides of the ledger through conscious action.
And apparently Rudra kept his own diary, his own balance sheet, right there on his desk for his whole life. It wasn't just some childhood thing he grew out of.
So he lived by it consistently.
Seems so. He really believed, and this is another quote, Hadshang Brat Khan Kani Doc, the gym for 92 here on Connemore, blah more, gotta come up next.
Which means
The balance sheet of fate is never final, not until life ends.
never final until life ends. That really underlines the ongoing nature of it, the potential for change right up to the very end.
Yeah, it does.
It suggests life is always a work in progress. You can always add entries, always strive to, tip the balance towards the positive side through your actions. It's a message of, well, enduring hope and agency, I suppose.
Absolutely. So the big takeaway from Rudra's story and his whole philosophy seems to be, well, that fate isn't just this external thing that happens to us.
Right. It's not purely external or supernatural.
It's deeply intertwined with our choices, our behavior, how we react to things, what we do. We're actively shaping that balance sheet ourselves.
Exactly. It shifts the focus, doesn't
Yeah.
it? From being a passive victim of circumstance to being an active, well, maybe co-author of your own life story.
Co-author, I like that. So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into Rudra's Bhagura Bayalankasiya, it feels like more than just a nice story.
Oh, definitely. It's a really potent metaphor for thinking about the cumulative impact of our actions and, importantly, our perspectives, how we choose to frame things.
Yeah, perspective is huge here.
It really encourages you to be more proactive, more reflective, whether you, literally start keeping a journal like Rudra or just mentally adopt this way of thinking.
Like a mental checklist sometimes.
Sort of, yeah. Just being more mindful of the blessings, acknowledging the setbacks, but also thinking about how you respond to them. It seems like a useful tool for just understanding yourself better.
It does. Which brings us to a final thought, really, for you listening.
Hmm.
If you were to consciously track your own blessings and setbacks like this, even mentally, how might that change things for you? Would it shift your focus? Would it influence your future actions?
That's a great question. Does thinking about life as this kind of balance sheet feel empowering? Like you're taking control?
Or can it feel a bit overwhelming? Like you're constantly judging yourself, keeping score?
Yeah. Is it liberating or potentially burdensome?
Yeah.
It's definitely something interesting to reflect on. Where do you fall on that? How does this idea sit with you?